Hello and welcome to Hopeful Moments 1. Today, we will hear a story revolving around a family conflict between two sisters, where the younger sister is falsely accused by her older sister of stealing without any evidence. When the younger sister refuses to help take care of the children after the accusation, the whole family turns against her, criticizing her for being selfish and taking her anger out on innocent kids. Today's story will take you through a surprising situation. The surprise lies in how the family reacts. Rather than seeking the truth or standing for fairness, they choose to side with the accuser simply because she is the older sister and disregard the younger sister's feelings. If you find this story interesting and filled with meaningful lessons, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to learn more valuable lessons. My sister, Emily, 32 years old, is a loving mother who cares for her 3 children. She has a 7-year-old son and 2 daughters, one aged 5 and one aged 2. Each child has their own unique personality and beauty, which makes me love them as much as my own children. Every time I see them, my heart warms with happiness, as if they are an essential part of my life. However, in her journey of raising and caring for these 3 children, Emily has faced challenging moments, and as a loved one, I have always been ready to stand by her side. From when the kids were very young, I was always someone Emily could trust and rely on whenever she needed help with taking care of them. I was not just a sister but also a companion, a protector of the children when she was busy with work and life. Becoming a reliable babysitter was not just a duty, but also a joy and pride for me. I have spent a lot of time caring for the kids, helping to teach them, play with them, and create beautiful memories that I will always cherish. Every weekend, every holiday, I try to make time to help her so she can relax and do her own things without worrying about the kids. Especially when the kids were young, she was always busy with work, and I was the one who helped her countless times, not only in emergencies but also in the everyday tasks of caring for the children. When the kids needed overnight care or during long vacations, I was always happy to open my home to welcome them, because I understood that family is where each member needs to support each other. These moments were not just about childcare, but they were opportunities for me to strengthen my relationship with the kids, be a role model for them, and teach them values like love, respect, and responsibility. I truly consider them my own children and always wish to provide them with a full and loving experience. Moreover, I believe that the love and care I give them will help them grow into good people who are responsible for both their families and society. I always knew that what I did was not a mandatory obligation, but a part of the loving and close relationship I had with Emily and her family. No matter how difficult the situation, I always put family first and was ready to help because I knew that was what every member of our family needed to do: love, support, and accompany each other through life's challenges. Whenever she needed help, I never hesitated. From when the kids were little, I was always ready to support Emily without any hesitation. Taking care of and helping the family was something I considered both a responsibility and a joy, especially when the kids needed extra care from me. I not only looked after the kids when Emily was busy with work or important meetings, but I also made time to pick them up from school, ensuring they always felt safe and happy when they returned home. I even participated in long playtime with the kids, helping them explore the world around them and creating memorable experiences together. When the kids cried because they missed their mom or were tired, I was always ready to soothe them, comfort them, and gently calm them down so they would feel at ease. I wasn't just a babysitter but also a big friend to the kids, always there when they needed comfort or wanted to share their joy. I knew each child's likes, habits, and little things they loved, like who liked to eat what, who was afraid of the dark, or who needed lullabies to fall asleep. These details weren't just part of daily care, but ways for me to express my love and deep concern for each child. I learned and remembered all of these things to create a warm, safe, and loving environment for the kids, helping them feel the connection and family affection, even when their mom wasn't around. Helping with the kids wasn't just a duty, but a way for me to show my endless love for them, making me feel more connected to the family and love them even more. The moments spent playing, caring, and witnessing their growth have become an important part of my life, making me feel happy and fulfilled every day. I didn't just watch the kids for a few hours each time, but I even took care of them overnight on multiple occasions, giving Emily time to rest and enjoy private moments without worrying about the kids. During the evenings I stayed over, the kids always felt safe and happy with me around because I was someone they trusted and loved. I learned how to make the kids feel comfortable and at ease, even if they had to be away from their mom for a while. In addition to babysitting, I also spent entire weekends taking care of the kids, allowing Emily to rest after stressful weeks of work. On weekends, I not only did the usual care tasks like feeding, bathing, or teaching but also took time to read their favorite stories before bedtime. Every story was a magical journey that helped me connect with the kids, making them feel secure and happy. Not only that, I patiently dealt with the kids' sudden tantrums. Sometimes, they couldn't control their emotions for trivial reasons, and I had to find ways to calm them down, listen to them, and help them overcome their sulking or frustration. I always tried to keep the atmosphere cheerful and warm, helping the kids calm down and learn patience and respect for others' feelings. Every moment spent with the kids is a precious experience, not just about caregiving but also about building a strong, loving bond. Those moments made me feel like I wasn't just a babysitter but an integral part of their lives, where family love is nurtured and blossoms. When Emily and her husband decided to go on a week-long vacation, I was the first person they trusted to take care of their children. I knew this was an important decision, and they fully trusted my ability to care for the 3 kids during that time. This wasn't just an opportunity for me to show love and responsibility, but also a chance to ensure the kids had a full week of care without missing the affection of their parents. Throughout that week, I took care of all 3 kids like a real mother. Every morning, I woke up early to prepare breakfast, making sure they were well fed and healthy before starting the day. Afterward, I drove them to school, helped them get their books ready, and reminded them of the lessons to complete. In the afternoon, I picked them up from school, helped with their homework, and even joined them in their favorite games. I wasn't just helping with physical needs, but also spent time comforting them when they missed their parents. Though I tried to make everything as fun as possible, sometimes moments of longing would appear. During those times, I would hold them, listen to their small concerns, and reassure them that their parents would return soon. Each of these moments made me feel the deep responsibility of family, that even when apart, love still exists and never fades. I did everything I could to ensure the children didn't feel the absence of their parents. Aside from physical care, I created a warm and joyful environment where they felt safe and loved, even without their parents around. Though caregiving can be tiring at times, I understand that these moments are invaluable, and I will never regret doing it for them. For this reason, I always believe that the bond between me and the children is very deep, and I am an essential part of their lives. The moments I spent with them, from daily care to weekend outings, are cherished memories that connect us. I couldn't have imagined that one day, my own sister, the one I always loved and trusted, would doubt me, or that the strong family relationship we had could be threatened by an unfounded accusation. Then, a few weeks ago, I received a frantic call from Emily. Her voice was trembling, almost on the verge of tears, as she told me she couldn't find her wedding ring. I could feel the tension and worry in her voice. The wedding ring wasn't just jewelry, but a symbol of love and commitment, and I understood why losing it could cause her so much distress. "I can't find my wedding ring." "Have you seen it anywhere?" she asked, her voice revealing her anxiety. I was momentarily stunned, unable to imagine where the ring could have gone. Though I was very close to her family, I hadn't seen the ring either. "No, I haven't seen it." "Do you remember the last time you wore it?" I gently asked, trying to help her recall any details that might lead to finding the ring. I felt bad that she was going through this, but I couldn't help much without more specific information. We searched every corner of the house together, but the ring was nowhere to be found. It felt strange. I didn't know where it was, but I also didn't think it could have simply disappeared. I just wanted to help her, but this was not an easy situation. She was worried, and I felt helpless because I couldn't ease her anxiety. But I never imagined this would lead to a serious argument or unwarranted suspicion from someone I considered family. Emily tried to recall details, but the more she thought about it, the more frantic she became. Her feelings at that moment were completely understandable. A wedding ring, a symbol of love and commitment, wasn't just a piece of jewelry, it was an essential part of her married life. Losing something so important naturally caused her a lot of worry. She explained that she had searched everywhere, every nook and cranny in the house, but the ring had vanished without a trace. "I've looked everywhere, but I still can't find it. I don't know what to do," she said, growing more desperate, as if all hope was fading away. The more she spoke, the more her voice trembled, full of helplessness and stress. I could hear her breathing heavily on the phone, her worry growing stronger by the second. I understood how she felt. If it were me, I'd feel the same way. The ring must be tied to many important memories, and losing it isn't something easy for anyone to handle. I sympathized with her feelings, but in that moment, I also felt powerless. I couldn't help her find the ring, and I couldn't explain more clearly that I hadn't seen it. While I could tell she was heartbroken and tense, I remained calm, answering gently but firmly that I hadn't seen the ring. At that moment, I realized that her worry might have clouded her ability to think clearly. But while I empathized with her confusion, I couldn't understand why she would begin to doubt me in this situation when I was always someone she could trust. Without hesitation, I immediately went to her house to help search. For me, supporting family in difficult times is the least I can do, especially when my sister was going through such immense worry. When I stepped into her house, I could feel the tension in the air. Emily was still panicking, walking back and forth, her mind focused solely on finding the ring. I immediately began searching because I knew that only by offering my full help could I ease her distress. We turned every drawer, checked every corner of the bedroom, kitchen, living room, and any other place where the ring might have fallen. Both of us sifted through everything, as though we were looking for something so important that we couldn't overlook a single detail. The room became more chaotic, but I didn't feel tired. I understood her confusion and tried my best to help her find that precious item. Even the least likely places, such as between the couch cushions or under the bed, weren't overlooked. We searched every nook and cranny, hoping to find the ring. Just thinking about the possibility of it being lost for good made me even more determined to keep searching. I kept asking her questions like, "Do you remember the last time you wore it, and when was the last time you saw it?" to jog her memory and hopefully find a clue. I even helped her go through the trash, something that seemed pointless but was part of our relentless effort to search. The anxiety and tension may have caused her to drop the ring in an unexpected place. I thought maybe the ring had been accidentally thrown away during cleaning, and I couldn't let myself give up until I had checked every possibility. This action came not only from my dedication but also from the love I had for my family, especially for my sister. I couldn't let her bear this worry alone. We searched in silence, the worry increasing as we still couldn't find any trace of the ring. But I didn't give up. After nearly an hour of searching with no results, Emily sat down on a chair, her hands hanging down, sighing in despair. Her face no longer showed the initial panic, but instead, sadness and helplessness. She looked around as if everything around her had become blurry and meaningless, with the precious ring nowhere to be found. I truly felt heartbroken seeing my sister like that. Emily was someone I always saw as strong, and now she had to endure a pain I couldn't immediately ease. I sat down beside her, gently placing my hand on her shoulder as if to pass on some strength. I tried to find a way to calm her down, knowing that this worry couldn't simply disappear. I said, gently and sincerely, "Maybe it just fell into a corner, you'll find it in a few days." Those words were a small comfort amidst the overwhelming disappointment. Emily nodded slightly, but in her eyes, there was still worry, as if, despite the reassurance, her anxiety hadn't eased. I realized that, although my comforting words might have helped her stay calm for a moment, the worry about the missing ring still lingered. I thought the situation would end there, an unfortunate incident we couldn't foresee. I thought that after calming down, she would find the ring in a few days. But little did I know that a few days later, things would get much worse, and everything would take an unexpected turn. Everything I had done was only to support her through a tough time, but I never expected that this support would lay the foundation for future strained relationships. A few days later, when I was trying to return to my normal routine, I received a call from Emily, but this time, her voice was not just panicked, but filled with anger. Her voice trembled, not from worry or fear, but from an uncontrollable anger. She cried uncontrollably on the phone, and I could clearly hear the bitterness in each word. "You took my ring, didn't you?" The accusation hit me like a slap to the face. I was stunned for a few seconds, unable to believe what I just heard. A cold feeling spread throughout my body. "What are you saying? Are you accusing me?" I couldn't say anything else except this choking question, while waves of shock hit me. Emily choked, but her voice remained unforgiving, full of accusations. "I've searched everywhere, no one else has been in the house, only you. If it wasn't you, then who else could it be?" Her words struck my heart deeply. I never imagined that my own sister would accuse me so blatantly. From someone I had always trusted and loved, now I was seen as a criminal. The shock and hurt surged within me, almost impossible to express in words. "Emily, I swear I didn't take anything. How could you think that of me?" I tried to suppress the pain in my heart and explain, but my words seemed to be unable to penetrate the wall of anger surrounding her. She refused to listen to me, and the more I spoke, the more she lost her composure. Her voice suddenly became harsh, faltering with anger and despair. After a brief silence, she shouted into the phone, her voice filled with both despair and anger, "Don't lie. You're the only one who had the chance to take it. If you don't give it back, I'll call the police." At that moment, I felt my whole body freeze. The police? I couldn't believe that my sister would go that far. This was beyond anything I could imagine. I never thought that my relationship with Emily could deteriorate to this point. A ring, a piece of sentimental value, had become the reason for the breakdown of our family bond. I had always cared for her, treated her as an important part of my life, yet now, because of an unfortunate incident, she was ready to turn her back on me, treating me like a thief. The pain in my heart was indescribable. I not only felt hurt from being falsely accused, but also from the sudden change in how she viewed me. Where was the family love? Where was the trust, if a small incident could change everything? I took a deep breath, trying to stay calm in this tense situation. My voice trembled slightly, but I knew I had to be firm and clear. "If you really believe I stole it, then do whatever you want. But I swear to you, I didn't touch that ring." I couldn't understand why she would think I did that, but no matter what, I needed to stand firm in my belief in myself. Emily didn't answer immediately. All I could hear was heavy breathing on the other end, as if she was trying to suppress her anger and disappointment. After a moment of silence, the call ended in a cold, suffocating atmosphere. I clearly felt that my relationship with her might never be the same again. I couldn't believe it. The sister I had always loved, cared for, and devoted myself to, now thought I was a thief. The feeling of betrayal and hurt overwhelmed me like a strong wave, pulling me into chaotic thoughts. How could such an incident cause everything to change so quickly? But this nightmare wasn't over. Just hours later, my parents called me. When I answered, they didn't give me a chance to explain and immediately began to scold me. "Why won't you just tell the truth?" My mother's voice was filled with disappointment and worry. I was stunned, unable to understand why they were reacting this way. Tell the truth about what? I didn't take Emily's ring. I tried to restrain myself from letting my emotions overwhelm my reasoning, but my voice was still filled with frustration. Even though I had insisted, my parents didn't believe me. They focused on a single detail, refusing to listen to what I had to say. "The ring disappeared right after you went to her house. Don't you think that's suspicious?" My father's tone was stern, as if they had already concluded everything. I felt like I was being pushed into a corner with no way out. All my arguments, all my attempts to explain were meaningless. They didn't need proof, they didn't want to hear my side, only relying on a simple coincidence of timing to accuse me. I didn't do anything wrong. I choked up, feeling like my words couldn't convince them. I helped her look for the ring. I even dug through the trash to check. How could I be the thief? Even though I was patient and sincere, my parents continued to pressure me. They not only demanded that I confess to something I didn't do, but they also said I needed to return the ring to make everything go away, so that the family could be peaceful again. "Family has to trust each other, don't let things go too far," my mother said, but I could clearly feel that it was them who didn't trust me. If you really didn't take it, then would you swear it? My father continued to push, as if there was no other way to resolve the matter except forcing me to swear. I felt overwhelmed. The whole family seemed to have turned against me because of an unfortunate incident. The relationship I once thought was strong was now slowly cracking because of this misunderstanding. The words felt like a knife stabbing straight into my heart. Why did I have to swear to prove my innocence to my own family? Why couldn't they trust me, even though I had always been there for them? The feeling of being insulted surged within me, and I realized that this pain wasn't just about the lost ring, it was about trust being eroded. I bit my lip, my heart full of bitterness. I had spent my life trying to be a good sister, a good daughter, always helping the family, always being there for my sister and my nieces. But now, just because of a lost ring, I had become the most suspicious person in their eyes. All the efforts and love I had invested seemed meaningless, as suspicion clouded everything. I froze, like I had been slapped in the face, as my sister's accusations echoed in my head. While I was still reeling from the emotional storm, trying to understand why things had turned out this way, Emily messaged me asking to watch the kids. I stared at the phone screen, unable to believe my eyes. She really thought that after everything that had just happened, I could still go to her house and take care of the kids as if nothing had happened? She didn't realize that within me, a huge wound had formed, and even though the kids were innocent, I couldn't overlook this hurt. I took a deep breath, trying to stay calm, then replied. I'm sorry, but I can't help someone who thinks I'm a thief. A few seconds later, the phone rang. Emily had called. I could hear the anger in her voice, as if she couldn't understand why I refused to help at this moment. Do you know what you're doing? Her voice was sharp. You're taking it out on the kids. They did nothing wrong. I gave a bitter smile, the words catching in my throat. This wasn't about the innocent children, but about me not being able to bear this suspicion anymore. You're right, the kids are innocent, I replied, my voice calm but firm. But I'm innocent too, Emily. Tell me, why should I help someone who doesn't trust me? That question hung in the air like a challenge, and I couldn't help but wonder if she truly realized the depth of the hurt she had caused me. There was silence on the other end for a few seconds, then she exploded. You're so selfish. Family is about forgiving each other, and yet you refuse to help your nieces just because of this small thing? Her words felt like a knife, cutting deep into my heart. I felt bitter and hurt. How could this be considered small? If this was small, what should I call this feeling of being hurt? A look of suspicion from the sister I loved and had always helped, an accusation with no evidence, a family turning their back on me, none of these things felt small. But I knew that in her eyes, perhaps my feelings were irrational, just selfishness from someone who couldn't forgive. Small thing? You accused me of stealing, threatened to call the police, and turned the whole family against me, and now you need me to pretend nothing happened? I interrupted, my voice heavy. Those words, though harsh, were all I could say at that moment. Emily didn't reply, she just sighed in frustration and hung up. I felt shocked, the disappointment growing as she still couldn't understand why I had refused to help. Once again, I felt abandoned by my own family, as if all the efforts and love I had given didn't matter anymore. A few minutes later, my mother called. My whole body tensed, but I tried to hold myself together. What you're doing is too much. Her voice was full of reproach. I understand you're angry, but the kids are innocent, you can't act like this. Every word she said felt like a slap in the face. Why, after everything I had endured, was I still the one being condemned? Why couldn't anyone see the injustice I was facing? I closed my eyes, feeling like I was stuck in a nonsensical loop, where I was the only one being held responsible for everything, and all the pain was supposedly my fault. But did I really do anything wrong? Mom, I replied tiredly, let me ask you, if someone accused you of stealing without any evidence, threatened to call the police, and then immediately asked you for help, would you do it? My mother was silent, unable to respond. I knew she couldn't answer that question because she understood that if she were in my position, she would feel the same hurt. but her silence made me feel lost in a world where I was no longer understood or protected. I knew I wasn't wrong, but that didn't make the pain any less.